Hello and welcome to this episode, Is Cash Really King? We're going to discover all about cash transactions and finance transaction and how that will affect you and your offer here in the Villages, Florida. If you're new to this channel, my name is Robyn Cavallaro. I'm a licensed realtor and MLS realtor. So if you're looking to buy a pre-owned home in the Villages, Florida, call me. My information, I'll keep it up here throughout the video. And also check this out. Before we start, make sure you go to my website, robyncavallaro.com, and here's the address here. You can search for any home that's available here, well, in Florida, but in the Villages. And what I've done is I've broken it down by sections. So if you want to search the historic area, you want to search Marion County, you want to search south of 44, and on and on. You can just click on it and search it. You can save the searches. It'll send you emails with market updates. You get notes from me all of the time reminding you, hey, I'm here, do you need help? So don't forget, go and search my website and also get my book. It's available in Amazon in print on Amazon. Also, you can get it on Kindle or as a download on my website. All right, back to the regularly scheduled program. All right, so I know now you're going to search, and I know I've been talking about this for a while, but I do have a new website coming out. My daughter and I are going to work on the content while the designers are doing their thing, taking my daughter and my two granddaughters up to New York to visit my mom next week. So I'm really excited. And I think the baby's going to take her first steps up there. So that should be pretty interesting. But anyway, let's get to the topic at hand. Is cash really king? And do sellers love cash offers? Yes. And here's why. It's an easy transaction. When you purchase with cash, there are no contingencies except the normal financing contingency. So we can be confident that the sale is going to go through without any hiccups. Sometimes with financing deals, there could be hiccups. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. I don't know. Something got delivered. Not here. Probably went to my mailbox. Anyway, okay, so if you're going to buy cash, first thing you need to know what information we need. We need proof of funds. And what that is a document from a bank, your financial planner, your investment account, wherever you are going to get these funds from or have the funds available. It has to have your name on it and the bank's name on it. Now, I will tell you this, I did have someone that tried to send me proof of funds and it didn't have a bank or their name on it. And he was a little annoyed that I told him we can't accept that because that could come from anywhere. I could actually have taken that document and send it to someone and said, hey, I want to buy this house and use these funds. So we have to have a document with your name on it and the bank's name on it and, you know, cross off the accounts, the account numbers, but it has to show you have enough money for that transaction. And again, I've had people show me bank statements. I've had them show investment portfolios, you know, things out of their 401k. But just know that if you have the money in the bank, it's going to be quick and easy to access. If you're going to cash in stock, CDs, any of those things, you need to know the dates that those funds will be available. So when we put a closing date on it, it's accurate. And cash sales can close in 10 days. So that's really nice. We just 10 to 12 days, as long as it takes to get clear title. Now, if you're buying cash, number one, can you make a ridiculously low offer? Probably not. Not here in the Villages anyway, but it all depends on the home. If it's in good condition, if it's a real dump, you know, if it's a real dump, well, you know, you might be able to make a ridiculous offer. You might not. Everything is very much home specific here, and I talk about that all the time. Sometimes it doesn't matter if it's, even it's a nice house or it's a dumpy house. People want what they want. All right. So can you make a low offer? It all depends. That's something you need to discuss with myself or with your realtor, whoever you're working with. So keep that in mind, that sometimes you can offend the seller by making an offer that's too low. So just think about that. All right, so next, cash transactions can be simple, but this has happened a couple of times. The buyer says, okay, I want to make a cash offer. And then all of a sudden you decide you want to finance it. Well, the seller does not have to accept a change in terms. And what that means is, if you decide you want to finance it and you need an extension, so if you're going to close, let's just say you put a 30-day close on a cash deal and you change your mind and you want to finance it, you can put an application into finance, but at the end of the day, that home has to close according to contract, unless you can get the seller to extend if you're having an issue, or you have to pay with cash. So just keep that in mind. If you think you might want to change your mind about financing, or sometimes people think, well, I'm going to put cash because I'm going to get my offer accepted, then other than if I had put in financing, and you just can't change your mind and expect everything to run smoothly. The sellers do not have to extend the contract for financing. So please understand that. I know that's happened a couple of times, and you don't want to get yourself into a predicament where you may lose your escrow deposit. Again, there's always a financing contingency, or there's a financing contingency for financing, but there's always an inspection contingency unless you waive that. So whatever that is. And we talk about, there are two types of contracts, and I don't want to get into that here, but then we need to discuss how repairs are going to be made, and we'll talk about that in another video. Or if you have any questions about that, please, you always can call me, text me, or email me. When it comes to a cash sale, you need to make sure that you have the money in your bank within enough time to have the money transferred to the title company. So this is what that means. Probably about 4 to 5 days prior to closing, the title company will send me, as your realtor, and they'll sell it, buyer, seller, they send us the final settlement statement and we approve it. We go through all the charges and make sure everything is correct, send it to the title, they send it to you. The final payment due for a home purchase must come from a wire transfer. You cannot bring what they call a wet check. You cannot bring a check to closing for the final payment. You can put your escrow deposit with a personal check. They will accept that. And the reason why is a personal check for $5, $10, $15, $20, whatever, $50,000 has time to clear before the transaction closes. If title companies were to accept a check at closing, you would not get your keys until that transaction or that check cleared. So you have to have a wire transfer. So you need to make sure that you have that money accessible. So if it's coming from a 401k, you're going to have to cash that in. I would start to make those plans ahead of time. As soon as you make your offer and it's accepted, make arrangements to have your funds transferred into an account that can move the money quickly. So think about that when you're using. Now, you say you're going to offer cash, you show a bank statement from whatever, TD Bank. But then later on you decide, you know what, I'm going to cash in this stock and use that instead. You can do that. We've determined that you have the cash, so you're fine. Where you actually pull that cash from, it doesn't really matter. But just know that you have to have cash to close, and it has to close on time, or else there could be a problem. So just think about that when you're moving money around. Financing. So now with a finance deal, they take longer. So when you're making a cash offer, most of the time, the buyer does not request an appraisal or a survey. So if you're thinking you might want that, that'll take a little bit longer, but most times with cash, we just don't do that. You know, I had an instance this past week where the home had been on the market for, I don't know, 35 days. So we make an offer. It was a 2-bed, 2-bath, courtyard villa, which our offer was $310,000. Comp supported 310, 315, maybe 320. And we're a finance deal. Of course, we make our offer and someone else makes an offer. And I went to my sellers and said, hey, listen, they have a higher offer. What do you want to do? So they came up a little bit, but they said, you know, 325 is our final. Good. I really didn't think the home was worth more than that, but my discussion with them was, I showed comps to the seller. This is, you know, basically what the home is selling for. They have a higher offer. What do you want to do? Now at this point, it depends. How badly do you want this home? Do you want to spend more than what the comps are showing? And that happens here. So just, you know, understand that you may get beat out, cash or finance, by making a higher offer, even if the home might not be worth it, just because you really want it or the other people really want it. So we just don't know. I know this is a crazy market. It just really is. This place is crazy. There's no standard anything. So think about that. All right, so cash to finance, and I think I already talked about this, but once you say you're gonna make a cash offer, you can't go to finance without there may be no problem. You might be able to switch it to finance. It all depends on the transaction. But when you're financing, we need to have a pre-approval letter from the bank, lending institution with your name on it again, and showing that you've been pre-approved for whatever amount of money. And we put that into the contract. So you're protected if this loan falls through, actually, and that happens where loans fall apart, that you'll get your escrow money back, because that's what it's all about. When you put that contract together, you want to make sure you're going to get your money back in the event something happens. So that's why with financing, we check financing, because there is a contingency if the deal falls through. We're going to take that one step further on financing. If you're financing a home and you have to sell your home, as a double protection, I will also write up a buyer's sale of their home addendum. That's not exact language, but that's what it is. You have to sell your home. I write up that addendum because, and this happens a lot in the villages, buyers can still have their loan approved without having to sell their home, but you as the buyer want to sell your home before you make that purchase. So in that scenario, if you just put in a financing, you know, I'm going to finance the home, there's a normal financing contingency in the contract, you get your loan approved, but that home doesn't sell. You still have to make this purchase. By putting that home sale contingency, that adds another layer of protection for you. Your home, the mortgage gets approved, but your home doesn't sell. You get out of the contract and you get your money, your escrow money back. Now there are some additional papers, things that we need signed, and additional paperwork like your contract on your home, additional questions. So if you have any concerns about that, call me. I'm giving you a lot of information here, but I still want you to call me, because I know it's just like anything. When you search on Google, you never quite get 100% of the answer that you're looking for, because there's just, each situation is going to be a little bit different. So please always call me. Don't think you can't call. So that's cash finance. Those are the things that you need to know and you need to do. Now I want to take you to the computer, because I do want to show you really quickly. I want to talk about, so I just have to add little nuggets into these videos. I want to talk to you and show you where you can find ARC manuals in the event you want to make any kind of changes to the exterior of your home, where to find that, and also about resident IDs. There are a lot of questions about that and what you need to know about getting an ID and who can get the ID. So we're going to go to the computer now, and I'm going to show you that. All right, this is the third attempt. I'm having technical difficulties. All right, so resident ID information. So there's a difference between resident ID and guest ID. So resident means you live here, you're a permanent tenant. Guest pass is for guests, or if you have a rental property and you don't want to pay for a non-resident ID, you get them a guest pass. But anyway, everything is here on districtgov.org, and I've stressed this in several videos. This is your best friend, so you need to keep this bookmarked if you live here or if you were hoping to move here, because it's just filled with a wealth of information. So here you'll see up here where it says guest or resident ID card information. Now goes through all the requirements if you're a non-owner. So that would mean you own it and you have a tenant. It could be a stranger tenant, you know, you just have someone renting for you, or like, for example, I had a gentleman who, he and his wife bought the home and their adult children were living in the property. These are the non-owner ID requirements. Also, we're just going through a closing where one owner is on the deed, but it's two others that want to be able to use the facilities because they will be coming down as well. They're just not on the deed, and these are the requirements that they need. And I sent them this link so they can get all of their ducks in a row, so they can get a resident ID, because resident ID is different than guest. So residents can use the sport pools, you can book tee times, you can join the clubs. Guest passes, you cannot do that. So there are different stipulations. Guest passes can all be picked up at a regional rec center, and you'll find those here. I don't think this they haven't updated in a while. Isel is a regional rec center as well, south of 44. And gosh, I think okay. Yeah, so here's the application. So like I said, you can go through this. Guest ID policy, this is very important. So make sure you review all of this information when you're obtaining guest passes. All right, let's get to the closing here. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me on this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Cash or finance is Cash King. And you found some helpful information on districtgov.org. I'm Robyn Cavallaro. I'm a licensed realtor here in the state of Florida. I have to go now because I am going to show a couple properties right around the block from me. So anyway, until next time, I'll see ya.